And one. Hi, everyone. My name's Carrie Morgan, and I am the host of this Holistic Empire Summit. And building a holistic empire means building that strength inside. It doesn't have to be anything in the world, it's just how you feel inside of your own skin, right? Building that empire inside. But today, I have the privilege of interviewing amazing women all over the world so you can step into your power, unleash your purpose, find that prosperity, and create the profit that you want so you can be the person you've always wanted to be, dream the way you want it to dream, and start living that life that you have, because you only have once, right? We only have one life. So I've been talking all day. If I forget something, just bear with me. But I have an amazing woman right here. Her name is Diana, and she is moving into her business. And I'm going to let Diana explain exactly what she does and how she serves women right now in her space. So Diana, please take it away and feel free to tell the women exactly what you do and how you generate wealth and help them open up their mindset.
Thank you, Carrie. I feel honored to be here, and especially because it's your birthday, so I celebrate you today with this interview.
Thank
And
you.
put that in the listening, and somehow it worked for us to be here today. So what I do is right now, actually before our interview, I was on a call with one of my private clients, and she was struggling with having conversations. And, you know, those conversations can be pretty challenging if you're new at having sales conversations. And so I just invited her to get on a call, and I walked her through a visualization so that she can step into her power, into her self-worth, so that she can charge what she chooses to charge. And so that's what I do. I work privately with clients, and I'm in a new phase where I'm coming out again after having quite a journey, a spiritual journey, and brings me to tears to think about. But now it's time for me to share the power of a woman who steps into her power and owns her worth, who knows what her value is, and who's able to show up and to speak up and be heard, whether she's actually speaking verbally or non-verbally. So I'm very passionate about women just blossoming into who they are, who they already are.
Yeah, no, right? We always have that inside of us. So no, I definitely love that. And I would say, so what is the one word, say if I met you out and in public and then you left my presence, what would the one word that you would say, that energy that you settle into, what would it be?
The word would be moxie.
Awesome.
And moxie is, when I discovered the word moxie, it just gave me so much power because I grew up most of my life as feeling like a wallflower, feeling invisible and feeling unnoticed. And so when I was introduced to this moxie word, it just like gave me so much power. It's just like another level deeper than having courage. It's like this muster. It's like coming through so that you can speak up when like your legs are shaking and you're going to have that conversation. And so I just love that word.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That is brilliant, right? Because it's all about the feeling and it's all about exactly what lights you up. So we want to make sure we're engaged in that and how that transforms into the person that you want to be. So you explained your, how you help people with is amazing because self-worth is something that is lacking in this universe, altogether. But how long have you been in business and how has your past aligned you in your current business? How have you been making that shift into your current business?
Well, it feels like I've been in business forever because I come out and then I want to do the business and I do the business and I start getting on the phone and coaching, and something inside of me would tell me I had to stop and I had to take care of my own personal life stuff. And so because I'm very stubborn, I finally had to learn when things just got, when you hit that bottomless pit. I don't know if you've ever hit a rock bottom, but hitting
We've
rock
all
bottom,
been there.
but hitting rock bottom became like almost like my lifeline. And I finally had to listen to it and handle my stuff, handle my money affairs, handle getting clear on what's the reality and not what's this, pie in the wall and all my optimism, which I believe is important, but really getting into the reality and being where I really was. And so I'm just coming out on the other side of ending that energetic contract. I don't know if that sounds woo-woo or not, but it's definitely ending energetic contract. And now I have a job, which I'm very blessed. It's a speaking job, so I get to get paid to speak out and talk to high school students, which there's so much healing with high school students. And so I get to do that every day. And inside of that, because my passion is to work with women and self-worth and heal those wounds, before and after work and on the weekends is when I'm working on developing that. And right now I'm working with a private client. And so looking at how much time do I really have to give and what type of business model do I need to have in order for me to match my income, double it, and then be able to, so there's like a lot of like moving pieces is how it feels right now.
Yeah, but that's good because we all have those moving pieces, and it is definitely that, okay, so shuffling but building your empire, right? It's about taking those steps and knowing what your pieces are and connecting the dots, right? I like to say connect those dots and really make sure that, you got that glue. You just need to connect the dots to get to that next step. We all have that in there. And so what would be, I love how you are able to teach, and you said that energetic contract, which is, we love the woo-woo because it still comes down to you. The woo-woo is you, right? And people are like, what's the woo-woo? The woo-woo is your alignment with your version, your highest potential. When you always say, I could do better than that. Or if you're sitting in a conference and you say, I can be speaking on stage, but you don't take aligned actions. And so when you start to take those aligned actions, then you feel that energy, but you also start to find that power and that strength to really step into that next person or that higher level, right? We're always in those leveling up stages in our life. So how do you master your day as a female entrepreneur? And I know that you have a daughter, correct? And how do you keep alignment in your business? So that will be our next venture to get into.
Yes, and that's a big topic. So I've been thinking about that since we last talked. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to share how it is. And so, on some days it's very structured, and some days it's just, I just got to roll with the punches and just go handle it. And so one of the things that I do work with are archetypes, and my number one archetype, my top archetype is Maverick. And a Maverick, that's what they do, is they're able to roll with the punches and create and just like go with the flow and make things happen. So on a good day where it's a structured day, I'll wake up in the morning and I will get centered, think about my goals, think about where I'm at, and center in as to where I'm at. And then also once I switch from there, then I start sending for my so if I'm working on my job, I will send out the emails so I can book myself. So it's kind of the same thing. So it's a very interesting dynamic, the one that I'm in, because I'm booking myself to speak. And so for my work, and so I've had to integrate that as being part of my business. Because if I keep segmenting that I have this life and this life, and that might help some of you that might be listening here, is that we really have one life. And when I think about, okay, I'm doing my business or I'm doing this job, it's like really I'm booking myself to speak. And so that's what I'm doing right now is I book myself to speak. I send all these emails out in the morning. A lot of times I'll send a bunch of emails out, and then I head out into the field and I go pretty much knock on doors and go talk to people, book myself. A lot of times I do get rejected. And I'm okay with that because I believe I'm getting closer to a yes. And maybe I'm okay with it because I've been in sales. So
Yeah.
a lot of my background in sales. And before I was doing the speaking gig, I was selling for Xerox. And that was B2B, straight sales. I was the only female on the team. Tons of sales training, and we had to be out the door every day. And so I'm blessed to have this blessing of a job where I get to do that. And so as I build that up, then I also reach out, and on Facebook, actually I do it on Facebook, I'll get into the groups and make comments or talk to people, have conversations, and then I'll, like this client that I have, I invited her for a conversation, and from the conversation, that led into me having a discovery call, which led into her saying, I was waiting for you to, I was wondering when you were going to ask me. And so then so that's kind of part of how my day goes. I'm out there in the field talking to people, booking myself. I come back. Sometimes I'm like really tired because I head out maybe an hour or two out in the field is where I'm at. So I'm talking to people. My nature is an introvert, so sometimes it takes a lot of me. So then I have to drink my water with cider and lemon. I have my lemon water. And food prepping is very important. So that's how I'm also able to maintain myself. When I don't food prep, it's a big hot mess. I'll eat stuff that probably is not bringing the highest version of myself. And so when I food prep, so they both work. Not eating, that takes me down a different route. And then when I am food prepping, when I food prep on Sunday and Wednesday, it's like I feel so much more empowered. I feel like I'm loving myself, taking care of myself, and I have a lot more energy. And so it's a constant cycle of, sending out emails, reaching out, picking up the phone, and sometimes I can get like way too much. I get really obsessed. So with getting calls and producing results, and then it's like I go into like this place of like this adrenaline, and it's a rush of energy because I'm just feeling so good about going from a no to a yes. So I'm driven by that, and I have to like return back into myself. So right now I'm on the end of one of those cycles, and I'm grateful for this interview because right before I met with my client and did a visualization with her. So that slowed me down.
Yeah.
So, it's very important that, if you have one of those hot mess or, things you're just producing out, going, doing. It's like at some point you just got to come back into yourself and reset the button, as I like to say. I use that with my daughter. We got to push the reset button and get back into it. And we just get back into it. No story.
Right? That's totally perfect. I love that. I love that you're using, what you had in the past and the Xerox, right? Using that to deal with getting out there and, getting on the phone call. We forget about that. Getting on the phone call, putting that energy into the process of, it is about the sales. It is about the rejection. It is about all those things. And it's just not about hoping something's going to land in your lap. It's about making, right? It's about getting out there and, doing that. People don't think that that sale process is in there, but you're always selling yourself. It's just a process of, asking for the number, right? Asking for what you're worth. And when you don't ask for what you're worth, you get into that point of giving too much away for a little price. So let's go into I know you do the assessments and the money aspect of let's go a little bit deeper in that. What would that look like? Yeah, if somebody would go through and, deal with that. You can show the little pamphlets if you want, but yeah, let's go in a little deeper. So I'll let you go take it from there.
Okay, so what I work with, I mean, I have lots of goodies in my toolbox. I have a bunch of things that I work with. One of the things that I love to work with are these archetypes that I've been working with, and there's 8 of them. And when you know what your archetypes, actually, I want to back up one second. The reason why I like to work with money is because it's such a charged area to work with, that if we can look at our relationship with money exactly the way it is and really be with it without feeling any shame about it, any guilt about it, or any other denials about it, but just being with what is so, then we can really transform the world around us, starting with ourself. And so money is, everything is connected to money. Pretty much every decision we make is connected to money. I do the same workshop with Girl Scouts for the last maybe 5-6 years in a row, and I do the same workshop talking about money matters, their relationship with money, and I connect it to their self-worth and their self-image, and it's very, very powerful. The archetypes, I'll go over, would you like me to go over a few of them?
Sure, yeah, that'd be great.
You want me to talk about all of them?
Well, you could just talk a little bit about like the overall aspect and how a new client, how you get them to figure out which one it is, you know, like how you relate this to your business and how powerful it is. Yes.
Okay. So to do this, it's a 64 question quiz, which is, I do give that out. And we can talk about that after. 64 questions, you answer 64 questions at the end of the quiz. I have it online, so I've been able to automate that, so that's been helpful a lot for my business. And so there's 8, and I'll go, the first one is, or one of them, they're not in any order, but the alchemist. The alchemist is a person who has a love-hate relationship with money. Lots of, they care a lot about social justice and leading to a movement than making money. So they care more about like a social justice, and they have this love-hate relationship with money. They're very optimistic. Then we have, so the alchemist is your ideal, your inner idealist. Then the accumulator, which is a great one, is your inner banker. And the accumulator loves to what? Loves to accumulate money. I know when I was a little girl, I had like calculators, and I would just calculate. I used to like go door to door when I was a little girl, and I would just calculate everything. How much money would I make in a second? So the accumulator is all about, they're conscious. They like to save easily. So a lot of times, if I'm sure there's lots of coaches and healers that are on listening here with us, the accumulator, a lot of times they'll say they don't have any money, when in reality, they actually have like maybe a 401k. They have tons of money in savings. They have money put away, but they kind of live in a world of they don't have money. So oftentimes, if you're in a conversation with a client and they say they don't have money, you might buy into that story because you actually think they don't have money. But what's underneath that is that they actually do have money. What they seek is a security. And if you can create that type of security for them in the conversation, then you may be able to create that know, like, and trust, where they feel the trust that they would want to work with you.
Yeah, that's a great one. I love that.
They're very secretive too. So lots of secretive, and they have some trust stuff, so they don't always want to say. So so it's very important to know who you're working with. The celebrity is the inner big shot. The celebrity loves to be recognized anytime. They're that person that just walks in the room and just loves it, and they rock it. Their image is very important to them. And their business includes lots of visibility. Visibility is very, very important to them. They have a magnetic personality, very confident. And some of their challenges can be that they're compulsive spenders. They might spend a little bit, they might overspend to have the really nice car, to have the nice outfit, because they're going to go out to an event or something. Um, However, if they also have, I work with the top 3. So if they're mixed with the accumulator part of them might put the brakes on and say, hey, like, let's see what else can we do? Can we repurpose an outfit? So, or they might just say, forget it, I'm just going to go get my outfit, depending on how important that event
Yeah.
is.
Well, that was good. I love, let me go back to the celebrity, because like people say, oh, celebrities, and they're always like, I love celebrities, or they're like into the celebrity like world. And that's, so many people read that People magazine and all that. I've never read that stuff, but I mean, people love that. But in reality, sometimes they don't even have enough money. Right? They spend all of their money on these lavish things, and we think of them as being these people, and then next thing you read, they have nothing, right? Like they spend all their money, right?
Yeah.
On that type of lifestyle. So not to interrupt you, but just saying.
Yeah, no, that was perfect, because there's a lot of people out there who have that, who put that good look on, right? And don't have anything to show, because they're spending all the money for their image, to carry this image.
Yes.
When there could be a breakthrough in there for them to look at their value is not in how they look and in their status, that they will be loved. And so there's other things that could come into play with somebody who's all celebrity. Nothing wrong with it. We need our celebrities because we love them. When they walk in the room, it's like, oh my gosh, right?
Yeah.
So now, if the celebrity is matched up with the romantic, that's like, so the romantic also loves to spend money. The romantic is your inner hedonist. You just love everything beautiful around you. Everything needs to be beautiful. Everything is like kind of matching. Spending money because you feel you deserve it. Often you don't want to make too many changes, because you just love to have beautiful stuff at any cost. And so if you have the celebrity and the romantic, it's like, whoa, you'll be spending lots and lots of money. And there's a lot of people that spend money before they get it. So you get paid, or you think you're going to get a client. So sometimes people might be thinking, oh, I have a client. But you say, well, did they pay already? No, but they're going to. And then all of a sudden that just triggers something inside them that says, I got to go spend the money. So there's some people that have inside of them where they just can't have money in their wallet.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
And that would be part of an inventory to take, is just knowing, nothing wrong, nothing, it's just, let's take an inventory. Now, the ruler is your inner empire builder. And you're never satisfied with having made enough. You're that boss gal, leader, and you thrive on creating, innovating, and building something lasting value. Now, some challenges are not indulging in enjoying life in the moment. You're always chasing and moving. Always chasing a moving target of money, and you never feel like there's enough. So the ruler. The nurturer. The nurturer is a lot of healers and a lot of coaches are nurturers. It's their inner sponsor. They're the givers. They're the ones that just give and give and give all their time, give their money. They just like always giving. And your self-worth, if you're a nurturer, comes from compassion and comes from giving. Like you just feel so good when you give. Now, the problem is that a lot of times you're not appreciated, or people don't notice, or it's not acknowledged. And so sometimes, and a lot of times the nurturers that I've worked with, because I've done a lot of these assessments, reviews, a lot of times they won't acknowledge that they go into a resentment place, but later on in the conversation, it will come out that there's this resentment, like, well, they didn't, and it's kind of pointing the finger when I did all of this, but they didn't. And so some of the challenge for the nurturer is a need to rescue, like the abandonment to the self. So they abandon themselves to go take care and help everybody. And what I like to tell clients when I'm working with them on the nurturer card is it's okay for you to help people, but you got to like be able to put some boundaries in place.
I love that one. Let's pause there for a second, because
Yeah.
that one, I think, that one is definitely, I feel that is going to touch a lot of people in this summit. Do you know what I mean? That nurture. Like, we always want to feel like we're helping and giving, but we're also giving our energy away. We feel depleted. And then we also feel, like you said, they didn't even notice. Do you know what I mean? Or they get that, like, I'm offering so much. Why wouldn't they pay
Right.
attention? Like that syndrome. But I love how you said the boundaries, because the boundaries are something that is, you need to have that structure and those boundaries of what you are giving and what you're giving yourself, right? Because you can't help everyone, and we all would want to. I would love to, right? But the process is you need to make sure you're helping your inner circle and really filling up yourself first. So yeah, I just wanted to touch base on that a little bit, because that nurturing thing, we get in that trap.
Yeah,
And
the
then
nurturer. I have lots of nurturers. Actually, a lot of the people that I've given a reading, because you can just take the assessment and find out what yours are, or you can have a reading. So then where I go over all of their archetypes, and a lot of them are nurturers, connectors, and the romantics. So it's been quite interesting to work with them. So let's see. Oh, so they feel resentful or kind of martyr. And those are energy leaks. So yes. I talk about under-earning, and I didn't really mention it before, but the under-earning is really doesn't have to do with how much money you make. You could be making $10 an hour and not be under-earning. You can have all your boundaries in place, have all your needs met. You can be earning $100,000 and be like leaking tons of money, and through your energy, because you're giving, and you're not being appreciated. You're giving all your time, volunteering here and there, but you got 100,000, but you really don't, because you're burning it, and you're the romantic, and you keep on spending it out there, having all this beautiful stuff. And so the under-earning is really about how you're taking care of your money. So it doesn't matter how much money you earn. It's really about, what are you doing with the cash flow? What are you doing? Are you spending it? Are you spending to give? And so that would be an energy leak, is constantly giving at the cost of your soul and yourself, like where you just feel so depleted and burnt out because you gave your last dollar. And a lot of times if they don't have money, they'll give their time. Oh yes, I'll volunteer. Oh yes, I'll go do this. Oh sure, yes, yes, yes. So if you're listening here today and you identify there, I'm going to invite you to practice saying no. Even if you can say yes, I want you to practice saying no. And if that's too challenging, because it could be, because that can trigger a lot of stuff, just the word no from deeper stuff, I would invite you to say, I'll get back to you. I'll get back to you. I would love to. I'm going to get back to you. I need to think it over, and I'll get back to you. Then you can make your decision. Tell them no. But just in that moment, you don't have to say no if you feel uncomfortable. So that could be a starting point for some of you.
Yeah, that's great. Good to know. Yeah, I've learned that, but it's good for people to hear that, right?
Yeah, and no matter where we're at, it's like no matter like where we're. I mean, there's like I've met lots of women who have wealth, like financial, like physical financial wealth. And they give and give and give and volunteer and volunteer and volunteer. They just giving and giving and giving. And they have no idea what they have in their wallet. They have no sense of what they have. They have lots of money, yeah. But it's still an under-earning, or it's like a leak of power, because you're just giving because that's your self-worth. But your worth is you already have that inside of you. Like you don't have to give financially in order to feel valued. Like you can still feel that self-worth, that amazing person that you are, without having to give. And so that could be a nice challenge for you. So we have two more. The connector is also aligned a little bit with the nurturer. They're very optimistic, your inner relationship connector. Now, the connector is so awesome with connecting with people. They easily have conversations. They walk in a room and they can just like talk to anybody. They're connectors. They just thrive on being with people. However, where the connector the challenge is in connecting and converting a conversation into a cash conversation, into a conversation that's going to lead to a client relationship and charging, because the relationships mean so much, so they can't charge, they can't. It's like there's a disconnect between the connection with the person and cash. There's a disconnect. And so what we need to do is to get the connector to know that they have value and that they're so powerful. The connector is so powerful that if they can connect their connection to a cash conversation or a conversation that converts, they can have like a thriving business that is powerful and that is set up with, with a beautiful boundary. The connector gives away coaching for free. They'll talk all day long. They'll be coaching for free. They'll be the ones that are on the call when you're talking with your friend coaches. I don't know if this ever happens to you, but they'll try to give you coaching when you're not asking for coaching. So I don't know if you relate, not you, Carrie, but the ladies that are, the people that are reading. And, sometimes we get into that place where we want to coach because we just want to see the transformation, right? And so that would be the connector. So some of their challenge would be lack of financial. The connector also is usually financially taken care of by somebody else. A lot of times they have no idea what's going on with money. If they are married, they have no idea what's going on with money. So that's, again, an under-earning leak, is that it's just leaking everywhere because they can't plug those leaks. So it takes a self-worth breakthrough on that. Maverick is the last one. That's actually my number one. It's your inner rebel with a cause. They're very creative. And actually part of the Maverick is being able to convert conversations and to do pricing on the spot. And so having those conversations that convert, if you have those Maverick qualities, you would have no problem. And I've done it before where I'm in a conversation with somebody and they're like, well, what's next? And I'll say, well, I wasn't thinking I was going to offer you a session. I was just giving you this free session. I want to honor it. And then it's like, oh, wait, but that would be like a total disservice not to offer you something when you're asking.
Yeah.
And boom, on the spot. Okay, let's go. You ready? Are you really serious? Yes. Okay, well then let's talk about what is it that you need, and then dive into the discovery decision-making call where I'm finding out what is it that they're going to want. So the Maverick has come through for me many times in converting conversations. And so that is something, if you have any of these, and I would invite you to take the quiz. It's a lot of fun. And find out what your archetypes are, because then if you, like my nurturer and connector are the last ones, or the weaker ones, the areas that I can improve on. And so because I know that I need to connect better and be nurturing. I am nurturing, but it's just a little more Maverick style in my coaching. But in having conversations and getting in Facebook and jumping in and making comments, that's my way of being more nurturing and giving and connecting. And so if you feel like you need to access the Maverick part of you, so that if you're a connector and you just want to connect, like the connection to a conversation and make an invitation, wow, I would love to talk with you more about that. Would you be interested in a conversation to see how I may be able to coach you or help you? And so, there's lots of different ways that you can say it, but that's the connection that you need. You need to have a connection that's going to connect a conversation into a connection. Would you like more? Which puts you into a position of the expert, or the person that's going to the mentor, the coach, that they say, oh, because people want to be led. And so when you're asking them the question, that gives them an opportunity to have that sense and the register within them whether you're going to be the person that's going to lead them or not. But if you're constantly giving it all away, there's not really a safety or a structure for someone to feel safe that I'm going to get 1, 2, 3, X, Y, Z. And so when you're able to ask them these thought-provoking questions that are uncomfortable, you need to have the moxie, muster up the moxie to say, before you go into a coaching conversation or to give away the coaching, to say, I am great at that. Is that something you'd like to know more about? Would you like to have a conversation about that? Or I have a program, or I'm working on a beta test. I'm beta testing my quiz. Would you like a reading? And so those are different ways that you can access all of them. I try to work them all the time. And sometimes I'll notice, oh wait, I need to access my Maverick right now because I'm trying to shrink to fit a little bit. And so what I need to do is access the Maverick, access the celebrity so that I can be visible. And that's what you can do to be able to balance out all of these different archetypes that you have within you. You have them all in you. I bet you when you were 2 years old or 3 years old, you were awesome. Like, you asked for what you want. Like, you had no shame in asking for what you want. Like, you had no shame in asking over and over.
Right.
And so that's what we want.
Oh, great. That's awesome. I love that I was going to ask the question, do we have them all inside of us, right? Like, is it a time where you feel yourself shifting from the maverick to the connector to the romantic, and to all of these so that you become that person? But no, I do love that. And that brings us right into, so what is your big vision, right? And what vision do you see yourself creating? So what is your ultimate performance in your lifespan, existence, or legacy for worldwide expansion? How do you see yourself changing millions of people's lives?
Oh, I love that. Millions of people's lives. Ooh, inside it's like a trigger. Thank you. So how do I see myself? I really am very passionate about women speaking up for themselves and speaking their worth and showing up, being seen, and allowing themselves to bring up and heal that part of that little girl or that little boy that was told no, or that was shamed, or that was talked over, or that was laughed at for speaking or for dressing a certain way. It's like, it's time to give all of that back. And I believe that I am called to help to contribute, to make a contribution to the collective consciousness and awakening at another level of who we really are. Like, you already are awesome. Like, you're amazing. You're already whole and complete. All we need to do is bring up those beliefs and return back that family karma that no longer serves you. It served you up to a point. It's no longer serving you. And so I believe I am here to remind women and girls to take back their power and to disconnect from all that stuff that no longer serves them, and to own who they are and rock who they are. Find a mentor, like find somebody that believes in you. When you're not really sure of yourself. I mean, I had the client telling me I would need to have conversations, but I'm having trouble having conversations. So I walked her through the visualization, and that brings me here. So I'm looking at, with my work, I'm looking at like the time that I have available. Like, I have lots of different programs that I can coach with. But I believe working with this one private client and with my life as I have, my daughter and, all the speaking gigs that I've just been busy with, I've been looking at how much time do I have and what is the model that I really, that I will thrive in to reach more people. Because if I'm working one-to-one, it's one person. And that's awesome. That is awesome, because I know she's going to impact other people. Or is it having a product where there's something that's automated? Then the automated product can reach out. And so that's where I'm at, is really looking at what can I realistically do with my time right now. So, and I'm honoring it, because in the past I would have jumped one way because of the maverick. That's where the maverick into impulses. And so that got me, nowhere, or got me where it got me. And I'm gratefully so for it. But now I'm just really listening into my intuition and doing it responsibly. And so I'm using the accumulator and the ruler, because the maverick just wants to just go, right? Just be impulsive. So I bring in the brakes with my ruler, and my accumulator puts the brakes on to say, hey, let's Let's look at what you have going on. So I keep on walking through transitions, because that's where, when every single time you constantly have an up level, there's a transition of where you are and where you want to be. And so because I keep on accelerating myself, well, then I have a lot more transitions, because I'm like, whoa, I'm in this place. Being here on this interview is part of that transition. Like, this is awesome. And I just jumped in and said, hey, can I be a part of it? And that was part of the Maverick probably. And then it's like, oh, whoa, okay, whoa, that maybe I was ahead of the game. But then I said, you know what? Your message is going to serve somebody, and somebody needs to hear where you're at. And so
that's perfect. Yeah, no, I absolutely love that. Absolutely perfect. And that gets us into, I don't know why this is not switching back. So let me figure, there you go. So this gives us into how you see the spiritual alignment in your life. Like, what is that for you? How has working with all of your tools, how have you seen that alignment work for you from where you were to where you are right now, right? Because you have to see your wins. If you don't see any wins in your business or in yourself, you will get discouraged. But you have to understand that where you were last 6 months ago is totally different from where you are now. Yeah, so if you just want to touch base a little bit on what spiritual alignment looks like for you and your business, and then we'll get down to the last question.
Okay, so spiritual alignment is very important to me. I've had years of recovery and recovery rooms, and I believe that's where I really got connected to my connection to God, and probably some of the other dark moments of my life, and is like having those spiritual awakenings and finding myself in recovery rooms, finding myself being a single mom, after, the single mom, getting married, going through divorce, so those the last 7 years is what I'm talking about when I say I've just come to the other side.
Mm-hmm.
So the last 7 years have been what would appear to the outside world as possibly as oh my gosh, this is a total a breakdown of stuff, which it really was. But spiritually, I felt so whole. I felt so prosperous. I felt so
awakened.
I felt so awakened inside of that. And for me, inside of those steps, walking through, the divorce, and I'm still, making court appearances, but they no longer trigger me like they used to. Before, it would shake me up. But now that I've been working a lot of my money stuff, now it's I'm empowered. I got my own money. I'm self-sufficient. It wasn't like that before. I was on services and housing and all these different things that I needed. And so now when I take care of some of these things, it's more I'm self-supporting. And that is one of the things that I have discovered God in, is in me being connected to God in doing the money work. It's very interesting, but connecting to God through taking care of my money affairs, I have discovered God. I have discovered myself. I have discovered a woman that I've never ever thought that I would ever get to know. And I discover myself every day in doing this. Spiritual alignment for me is every day. It's all day. I have to ask myself questions, because my mind likes to trick me and play games with me. And I have to ask myself questions. Is that true? Well, what if? How can I? Well, what if I could? So I'm constantly, and I feel like I connect to God through there. There's a lot of this exercise work for me as a spiritual healing.
Yeah, that's perfect. I love that, because it's true. It's an everyday process. It is definitely a process where you are asking those questions and you're connecting with yourself. That what I see is spiritual alignment. So my last question is, it's called the Golden Nuggets session, right? Where you leave us with a golden nugget. It can be something that maybe someone told you when you were in transition, or something that you seem to fall back on, or somebody you meet and then you give them this tool and they either come back to you as a client or they see a dramatic shift in their self. Is that good? Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think just recently I was helping a gal in a support group, and she was just having some struggles in her relationship, which a lot of money stuff has impact on the relationship. And for me, the golden nugget is really, I just bring it back to God. I bring it back to God, and I'm trying to think of the actual golden nugget of what I do say, but I think part of it is doing the footwork, getting into action, picking up the phone and making phone calls. I believe when I did some workshop while I was a program like years and years ago, it was one of those challenging programs that pushed a lot of my buttons. It was like a boot camp for, I think it was 6 months or a year program. And every time I was like having a challenge, they would say, I don't know, pick up the phone. I don't know, pick up the phone and call somebody. I don't know, pick up the phone and call somebody. And I used to get so freaking like, what does that have to do with this? Like with me, you know, It's all about me, little me. And I think that is the golden nugget is, I don't know, pick up the phone and call somebody. Pick up the phone and get into a conversation. If it's like a bills or something, get in the conversation. Pick up the phone. Pick up the phone. Like people get into a paralysis of their lives. And it's so important to pick up the phone. We're so terrified of the phone. I'm so grateful that I've been in sales that I have to pick up the phone. But it's pick up the phone.
That's a group.
Or get face to face with someone and have a conversation. Say, hey, how can I help you? What do you need help with?
Yeah, that's great.
Exit yourself, your little self, and enter your higher self of being a higher good for a world, especially like right now. So many people are in so much anxiety and hurting right now. You've got different people in different places that, hey, how are you doing? I see you're posting this. Like what? I'd like to be there for you. What kind of support do you need? You don't have to go down their road. You got to have your boundaries, and you probably need to check in with somebody before you make one of those phone calls because there's lots of triggers right now. And so very sensitive right now. So you really need to have your boundaries plugged up before you go down a road that you don't want to go in. So you stay in your power, pick up the phone, find out who you can serve, or pick up the phone and ask for help. Maybe it's the other way around. Maybe you need help. Maybe you need support. Maybe you need to talk to somebody and connect with someone.
Yeah, no, I love that. I definitely love that. Let me see if I can okay. I love that you said pick up the phone, right? Because even when you're looking at your bills, you can pick up the phone and there's sometimes a different rate that you can get a cheaper price, right? Maybe there's a special, but if you're dwelling on not, action or not asking or not having a conversation is huge. We forget that the phone is still powerful. The email can, you're like, well, why didn't anyone email me back? Well, maybe they didn't see that email. Like it doesn't have to necessarily be that they didn't connect, but maybe they didn't get that email. So the phone, you definitely know you're leaving a message, you're putting an energetic level out there, but you're also talking and connecting, which is huge. I love that. So please just let everyone know how they can get their quiz, where they can find you, and then we will sign off.
Okay, great. Yes, thank you. So you can get the quiz if you go to positivediana.com. positivediana.com. I have a story with Positive Diana, but I'll tell you that one later on another call. So positivediana.com, and I believe I have you can click where it says start here, or it might say quiz, and you can just take the quiz. You don't have to opt in to take the quiz. There's 64 questions. So I highly recommend it that if you're very serious about having to look at these archetypes and having a transformation in your life, this could be very transformational. If you're not that serious, it's going to be a drag to answer all the questions. It's going to seem like too many questions. But if you're very, very serious about having a transformation for yourself, I highly recommend to find out what are your archetypes, because then you can see the world a lot differently. And if you're in a marriage couple, like that would even rock. But you can take the quiz, 64 questions at the end. You do enter your email at the end, I believe, to get the answers. But to start the quiz, you don't have to opt in for that.
Great. And I will make sure I have all of that information underneath. If there's anything else you want to share with anyone, let us know. But we are, and I'll, like I said, I'll make sure I have all the links so that you can connect with Diana on the level on her Facebook page and her Twitter and everything, right? It's your name under Twitter.
Yeah, I'm not
Okay.
too active on Twitter,
Okay.
but if you connect to me through
Your
Facebook,
Facebook. Okay.
yeah,
Just checking. I
Facebook,
mean, like, we'll have all the links that you
yeah.
set up. So I want to say thank you, everyone, for being here today. What an amazing experience, and how she just broke down every different type of money issue or money block that you could have. And we all probably listening have felt, oops, yep, I think I'm in that one right now, or maybe that was me a couple years ago. But remember that you are the one that is leading this life. You're the one making the choices. You're the one making decisions on your money, on your mindset, and also on your purpose and creating that prosperity and really stepping into your power. So go out there and take these action steps. Diana, as I'm so thankful for you sharing your time with everyone today. And we're going to be signing off. So I just want, Diana, if there's anything else that you thought of you want to share, feel free.
I just want to say go for it, pick up the phone and start talking to people, start having conversations and just ask questions, even if it's just, hey, can I use that pen? Even though you know you can grab the pen. Start with that if you're having a hard time. And then develop that skill of asking, would you be interested? Would you be interested? I would love to. And just have fun with it, play.
Great. That was a great episode. Thank you so much for being here. Make sure you're staying tuned. We're going to be having episodes and series and women for the whole next 7 days. So make sure you're staying tuned. And this is all about you. We're here so that you can see the different levels of steps that create success, right? It's not about listening to someone that has about 50 books and you cannot relate to them. It's about the real women. It's about the real lifestyles, the real stories that you need to hear so that you can turn on that switch and you can step into your power. Thank you so much for being here at this Holistic Empire Summit. My name is Carrie Morgan, and make sure you stay tuned and look out for our next session. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.